Welcome to the Spring Pranayama class number 1. Today we're going to talk about some basics so that you have an understanding of how I think about pranayama. You know the word yama from when we talked about the yamas and niyamas during asana class throughout the spring session. Well, you heard of one if you're in class number 1. I've done all 13, so I have a different idea. But yama means control, restriction, boundary. It means a safe container. And prana is an exciting word. It does not literally mean breath, but in yoga philosophy, there's the concept that the life force, however you want to interpret those words, rides on the breath. And so if we can contain the prana, the life force, we'll also be containing the breath. And breath control is a really exciting topic right now in the neuroscience world, especially. But also there are a lot of people like Patrick McCowan, who are teaching breath practices independent of yoga, even though his last book did include some yoga information. There are a few key things that neuroscience is bringing out for us in terms of technique that are very important. The first one is nasal breathing. Nasal breathing has a lot of advantages. One is that it's easier to control the breath because the nose or nares, the nostrils, are a smaller aperture or opening than the mouth. So you're going to be better equipped to control breath when you're breathing through your nose. In addition, we are using pranayama the way that I teach it to achieve a parasympathetic state in our nervous system. You can read more about that in the reference materials on the website, but for now, I'll just say that breath, when it goes in through your nostrils, it crosses your sinuses, and one of the ways it helps with nervous system regulation is it releases nitrous oxide into your lungs and your bronchial passages. And nitrous oxide, you probably think about it as laughing gas, same stuff, but this is microscopic amounts that allow the little tiny alveoli in the lungs to expand and relax so that they can take in more air. So we breathe more efficiently if we breathe through our nose. And of course, the nose also has the ability to filter out cold temperatures, some bacteria and viruses. So nose breathing is really, really, really safer. There's a lot of literature on the website about that, but you can look at that if you're curious. So I want you to begin to be aware of your breath, just how it moves your body, because most of the time, our breathing is unconscious. We are using pranayama to make breath more conscious. And so let's start with the physical aspects of breath awareness. I end most of my asana classes with this brief pranayama meditation. And so it'll be pretty familiar, but if you're dropping in for a pranayama class, you'll get it here for the first time. So find a comfortable seat. You can sit up on the edge of your chair with your sits bones on the edge and your knees and feet hip-width apart, and your spine stacked up, just like I taught you in asana class. That's one possibility. And it's a good choice for just this short practice because you'll be able to access the different parts of the body more easily. They move more freely. But we don't have to use that pose for the whole pranayama practice. So let's find that seat. If you need to lean back, that's okay, but if you can, come to the front edge of your chair and bring your awareness to the breath in your nose. You can do this with eyes open or closed. I think closed is a little more efficient. Feel the cool air entering your nose on inhale. And on exhale, notice how the air is now warm. In your nose, how far back can you feel that cool air traveling? And where does the warm air begin? Now bring your attention down to your throat. Between the nose and the bronchial tree is the trachea in the throat, and that's where the air travels. So let's see if you can feel that cool sensation anywhere in your throat. Can you feel the warm sensation in your throat? You might or might not be able to. Can you feel your throat expand a little with inhale? And relax and soften with exhale. Now let's come down into the chest, front, back, and insides. Your whole torso, really your whole body breathes, but we're going to talk about the torso primarily today. Put your hands on the sides of your ribs at the bottom. Just put your palms down and let your fingers come around to the front. They probably won't meet unless you're much smaller than me. Gently and slowly inhale and notice what moves. As you exhale, notice what moves. Leave one hand on your lower ribs and the other hand over top of your heart, right below, an inch or two below your collarbone or clavicle. And let's inhale and exhale a few more times, noticing what happens. And let that focus go. And bring both hands just down so that your palms are on your belly. You can't do this wrong. Gently inhale and exhale for a few breaths to notice how breath moves your belly. For most folks, it's a much smaller movement than the chest movement. And then bring your thumb to the very bottom of your breastbone, and then the center of your palm will lie between the bottom of your breastbone and your navel, your belly button, umbilicus. And notice what happens there on a few gentle, soft inhale and exhales. What you're feeling right now is your diaphragm going probably down on inhale and up on exhale. Leave that hand over top of the diaphragm and bring your other palm back to that spot over your heart and take a few inhales and exhales. Did you notice which moved first? For most folks, what you'll feel and what usually happens is the diaphragm moves first. The diaphragm is like the plunger on a syringe. You pull back on the plunger and then the syringe fills from the top, from the side that has the needle in it. So the diaphragm is like that plunger. It pulls down, and when it does, it changes the atmospheric pressure in your chest, when you make that little bit of space with the diaphragm movement, the atmospheric pressure needs to equalize between outside your body and in, and so air comes in. So, now that you've felt how breath works in your body, I'd like you to try to just become aware of your breath rhythm without a lot of coaching. We count breath like you count thunder and lightning. 1 second in 1 second intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some people think it's easier to say and in between 1 and 2 and 3. So without putting a lot of pressure on yourself, don't count it first. Just begin to tune in to your breath. Follow it from your nose down to your belly on inhale, and from your belly up to your nose on exhale. Keep the breath soft, quiet, smooth, and whenever you're ready, count. So whatever numbers you have, that's the ones for you. You need to respect your body. You'll find an opportunity to tweak those numbers a little bit as we move forward, but we always begin where you are. Begin with the body you have. And so if your inhale was a 3, 4, or 5, let's use that as the number for inhale and exhale for just a short practice. You're going to soften your breath so that you can make long, smooth, gentle inhales. Count as you go. I'll show you how I'm doing it. I'll use a 5-5 count, and you can adjust to the number that you noticed. So I inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pause the audio and try a few at the breath pace that is most comfortable for you. If you feel lightheaded, if you feel uncomfortable in any way, stop and take a few deep breaths. It's probably not going to happen, but I want you to be safe. So if anything is ever uncomfortable, remember ahimsa, no harm, is the main principle of yoga practice. So pause the audio, try a few at your breath rate, and see how you feel. So, you had your first pranayama practice maybe, or maybe you're an old hand at it. Notice how you feel. Notice how your breath is moving now after just that short little practice. Let's increase the numbers just slightly. What we're moving toward is a 1-2 ratio between inhale and exhale. So whatever number you got for an inhale, maybe 3, 4, or 5, I don't suggest you go much higher than 5 because this next step will be easier if 5 is the top number you consider using. So on the first round, I will inhale for my The inhale will stay the same. I'll inhale for my inhale rate, and then I'll exhale the same number. I'll inhale 5, I'll exhale 5. The next time, I'll inhale 5 and exhale 6. Inhale 5, exhale 7, inhale 5, exhale 8, inhale 5, exhale 9, inhale 5, exhale 10. You don't need to have a goal. You need to be willing to have an experience. We don't have the goal that we're going to double our inhale with our exhales. We have the idea that we're going to explore what it's like to do that. And when we're finished, I'll give you some more information about that. So I'll talk you through how it begins, but I don't think I need to talk through everything. It's inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second round, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You get the idea. The most important thing, though, is that you be comfortable and relaxed. If you start to feel the least bit irritable in any way, just pause, take a couple of breaths, and start again if you like. As you pause the video, you might want to count on your fingers that you don't go higher than 10 or 12 rounds. That's a good duration for an actual pranayama practice. You can do less while we warm up to it. So try that. Pause the video and try increasing your exhales incrementally while keeping your inhale the same. So please pause and try that.
Take it.
So pause the audio and try a few rounds on your own. Remember, the most important thing is that you remain comfortable. Don't let your respiratory and cardiac system become irritated, because that will translate into your nervous system. We want this to be a gentle, accessible practice. So try a few on your own and then start the audio again when you finish. So notice how you feel. There are a lot of neuroscience studies that you can look at on the website that talk about the relationship between a 1-2 inhale-exhale ratio and heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is a major factor for nervous system regulation. And we'll talk about that a little more. You can read about it on the website, but the slow and gentle breaths in the parasympathetic that take you into the parasympathetic system will return your heart rate to the variability that is most efficient, which is that your heart beats a little bit faster while you're inhaling and slower while you're exhaling. Remember, the way we're doing this, the way we're telling the heart that it's okay to slow down and moderate the pulse and the beats, is by using the diaphragm on slow exhales to stroke the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve, the bulk of it sits behind the diaphragm. It also goes up into the head and down into the gut. It's the largest nerve in the body. And before we're born, in early gestation, the vagus nerve and the heart are one organ that divide into two organs. And I think that's one of the reasons why they communicate so effectively with each other. Plus, they're right next to each other. The diaphragm, the vagus nerve, and the heart are all very centrally located in and above the solar plexus of your body. So Take a moment to notice your breath throughout the day. Repeat this practice with or without the audio after your spring asana classes. This one is for class 1. They go together, remember, because asana prepares you to sit comfortably in pranayama, and it also loosens up some of the muscles that we need to breathe efficiently and effectively. So I hope you enjoyed this, and you go on next to Meditation Spring Class 1. Thank you. Let me know any questions you have on social or the website or under this audio.